And we welcome you to CCSJ Men's Soccer here on the JEDTV Sports Network. I'm Kyle Mathas. Welcome to the broadcast here on JEDTV. The CCSJ Crimson Wave will be visited by the Defiance College Yellowjackets this evening on a beautiful, gorgeous late summer day here in Northwest Indiana in East Chicago. Defiance coming into this game 0-4-1. Their most recent loss was on the road just last week, a 2-0 loss to Adrian, Michigan. And then CCSJ, they're 0-5 right now, haven't picked up their first win yet this season, and their last game was a loss at home against Siena Heights on Tuesday, 2-0. Like I said, I'm Kyle Mathas, and just introducing the starting lineups now for each team. Defiance will be in the purple, CCSJ will be in their home white uniforms, 2 45-minute halves. And both of these teams, like has been the case for most of the games this season that we've covered, looking for that statement win to get their season going in the win category. Both of these teams winless, but Defiance has a tie as well in the mix there. So we'll go through the two coaches for these two teams. Shane Cloutier for CCSJ is in his first season at the helm of the Crimson Wave, and this is his 7th year of experience at the coaching level, but this is his first collegiate head coaching job. So he didn't coach college before this. He just coached high school, and he's coached for a bunch of different teams like Hanover High School, Indiana United FC, and right now is a coach for the Jake Stars FC, which actually the head coach for the women's team for CCSJ is also a part of that club as well. And meanwhile, on the other side of things, for Defiance, for the Yellowjackets, Tut Czar is in his second season as the coach for the Yellowjackets. And if you're wondering why these two teams have never played, which they've never played before this, it's because Defiance just got moved down from Division III to NAIA just 2 years ago. So right now, Defiance is kind of in a rebuilding process with Coach Czar. And Coach Czar, a native of the country Burma, which is right in the Asian Pacific Islands. He used to coach at Mount Vernon Nazarene, also was an assistant coach at a few other colleges, including Arkansas Little Rock, which is one of the good Division I programs for college soccer. But Coach Czar had a lot to say about the rebuilding process for his team, and we'll get more into that as the game continues. But here we go. We're underway. CCSJ gets things started. It's Eduardo Canuto who will boot things away. Here's an early pressure and a shot, which is easily handled. So we'll have to see which team can get out to a quick start. One of the things that happened in the previous game that personally I covered for CCSJ was that they allowed 5 goals in the span of 15 minutes in one of their last games, which really they weren't able to come back from that. And they did end up scoring 2 goals in that game, but it resulted in an 8-2 defeat. Both of these teams looking for a little bit of a good performance to get some momentum going, as we're just very early on in the season. But obviously these teams, not how they wanted to start the season, but for both coaches, they know these two teams were in rebuilding processes. So this is kind of I guess they really didn't have any expectations at the moment. So Jacob Goldsberry, the sophomore from St. Paris, Ohio, is in goal for the Yellowjackets. 3 goals allowed this season, 10 saves. That one rolls just long. Have to see how CCSJ can play well defensively. You got a few guys back there like Giovanni Ramirez Guerrero, who has been a pillar back there in defense. You've heard a lot of Christian Angel's name, Israel Batista, all of those guys. I mean, Angel just a freshman from Gary, and then also from Gary, Batista's a junior. So they do have experience. They do have transfers as well from different colleges, including Alan Trehu, who's from Malcolm X College. He also plays back there in defense, as that one rolls just long. Starting goaltender, like I said, Canuto, 27 goals allowed for CCSJ this season, 64 saves on the year. He's the junior from Brazil, and he's actually transferred from Lindsey Wilson University. faced 11 shots on goal in the loss on Tuesday against Siena Heights and made 9 saves but allowed those 2 goals, which resulted in a 2-0 defeat. Here come the Yellowjackets on the prowl now, and they center it, and Canuto's the first one there. Coach Cloutier had a lot of good things to say about Canuto as starting goalkeeper. He was a late signing for the team late this summer, but he does bring in 2 years of experience. He played at a super high level in Brazil during his youth days, and he brings, quoting from Cloutier, a lot of confidence to the team due to his experience. Here's a steal, and here's a through ball, finding Griffin Meyer, who takes a shot. Good save by Canuto. Immediate pressure there from Griffin Meyer, the junior, who puts his second shot on goal of the season. A good save by Canuto, first of the game. Well, for Coach Tutzar, one of the ways that he said that he wanted his team to try and win this game was to just put shots on goal, try to score those goals, and hasn't been easy this season for Defiance, or should I say last season. They went 0-18 last season, didn't pick up a win, but they've struggled to find goals this year, and they've struggled to find shots on goal. That was a weak ball played in for a goal kick. Have to see how the offense can get going here for CCSJ. One of the players that has a goal this season, Nigel Osiasari, the freshman from Joliet, had a big goal a few games ago against a good opponent. Through ball trying to find Cazares. Cazares, the freshman, plays in that forward position. Ball played ahead, looking for Trehu. Trehu gets to it, but it's blocked on that attempt. Gets it back, lets it go in the middle. It falls kindly, but just cleared away, I believe, by John Villatoro. John Villatoro coming back, the junior from Louisville, Kentucky, transferred from Spalding University. Like I said, a lot of transfers on this team. They are in a rebuilding process, Defiance is. I think the referee is just getting a few spare balls to put so that when the ball does go out of play, they can have a quick throw-in. But Villatoro, like I said, transferred from Spalding University last season. Conference champion at Spalding while he played soccer there. In here to Cazares, played out of play, and that's going to be to the Yellowjackets. Played ahead by Ramirez Guerrero. Falls kindly now to Brent Rader, also a transfer from Findlay College, which is another college in Ohio. Defiance is actually a college in Ohio as well, so here's a nice switch here. Awkward control by Rader, but they're going to get it to him. Here comes Rader. Cannot reach it. Just out of the reach. Brent Rader, however, transferred after his sophomore year, started in all 18 games in his junior season with the Yellowjackets. Headed nicely away by Guerrero, sophomore from Lafayette. Solis, through ball played in, and here they come with Elon Nathan, and Nathan is just offsides. Elon Nathan's got an interesting story. He's a sophomore from Lyon, France, coming all the way across the Atlantic to play. Played 9 games as a freshman with 4 starts. He's a sophomore now, majoring in sports management, and he's fluent, at least he says, in English and French. So obviously you always wonder with the international players if they will be able to effectively communicate with their teammates who might speak another language. But he is fluent in both languages. Nice clearance away by Cesar Madriz. Right now, so far, the Yellowjackets controlling possession in this game. 28 shots this season for Defiance, 32 for CCSJ. So CCSJ has more shots on the year, but so far it's been a good start for the Yellowjackets. And here comes Gabriel Lorenzetti. Centering pass taken calmly by Batista. Cleared away, and here comes Trehu. That one just tapped out of bounds by Solis. One of the things that actually head coach Tutzar was talking about in the pregame interview is actually they're going to say that was last touched. So I think they said initially it was a CCSJ throw, then they changed their mind to Defiance throw, and then an illegal throw-in by Raider. However, Coach Tutzar did say that he got 3 important players in recruiting from Bolivia. So a few of them from La Paz, Bolivia, including Nicolas Solis. Also, another player from La Paz, Bolivia was Diego Suarez. And then there was one more player as well that came from Bolivia. Also a couple from Venezuela as well. We'll get into that in a moment. And as here comes a promising run by Solis. And Solis is taken down. No foul, though. Not the best clearance, however, from Gaffaro. And we're going to get a whistle. I think an injury, or at least maybe just a little sting right there on Solis, who was taken down as he was moving up. Amilcar Ramirez for Defiance, also from Bolivia, from Santa Cruz, Bolivia, so not from La Paz, but close by. So 3 players from Bolivia. And Coach Czar did say that he has experienced himself what it's like to be an international player at the collegiate level. Trying to chase this one and just not getting there on the run, I believe, was Henrik Wozniak. But Coach Czar, like I said, was an international player himself. And when I asked him about how the transition is for international players coming to these colleges in different countries and playing, he says that it's important. He wants them to compete, and he says that they know why he recruited them, and they know their own skill, and Coach puts all the trust he has in them to go out there and show him what they have and why he recruited them. So just under 10 minutes into the opening half. Got to imagine that the fatigue will be a little quicker to set in for these two teams. It is pretty warm today, and the sun shining over the field. Not much shade except for the far side on the CCSJ side of the field. But it's one of those late summer hot days before we start getting into fall weather. Mason Kos receives the one-touch pass from Raider. Back across now for Villatoro, who's playing in that center defensive midfielder position. Great ball and a promising one, trying to find Griffin Meyer, and that one just out of the reach. One of the things that we've seen this season here at East Chicago Central High School is that when playing the ball on a through ball, especially when you get a little bit close to the end line, it rolls pretty quick on that turf compared to just natural grass, and makes it tough for those forwards to catch up to the ball, and they usually roll out for a goal kick, at least what we've seen so far. CCSJ has been dominated so far, at least for the first 10. Out of play, as it was Gaffaro who was dribbling ahead, trying to find Cazares. Falls nicely, and here comes Trehu. Off of him last for a throw. If you're just joining us, though, this is the first time that Defiance has ever met with CCSJ in men's soccer. They've never played before this because Defiance was a Division III college before, just 2 seasons ago, and They transitioned down to NAIA. So they're also in the rebuilding period. Both of these teams did not win a game last season. 0-11 for the Crimson Wave and 0-18 for the Yellowjackets. Not the best ball, intercepted nicely there by Nathan. And here's a promising pass ahead, and here comes Meyer. Meyer on his left, finishes calmly, and an opening goal for Defiance. And you can hear the visiting crowds all the way from Ohio. Let's take a look at the replay here. Going short side on the shot was Meyer. And he gets his first goal of the season for Defiance. So 1-0, just under 13 into the opening half. And that left side has really been open for Defiance to attack almost all game. And actually, Meyer actually got an opportunity to score earlier, and it was a big save, though, by Canuto. This time, Canuto beat short side. Here's a promising pass, though. Trehu trying to counterattack quickly. Goes in with the left. That one went all the way through, but could not be handled by any Crimson Wave attacker. Cazares was in the vicinity. Ricardo Pinto also up there, the senior from Porto Salvo, Portugal. See if they go with a deep throw here. Here's an attempt on goal, easily handled. I believe actually Tyler Harper is in there in goal. Number 00 instead of Jacob Goldsberry, which is number 0. So Harper's a sophomore from Martin, Ohio, and he's been the main goalkeeper this season for the Yellowjackets. Long ball ahead, and chasing it is Elin Nathan. Headed back nicely, though, by Ramirez Guerrero, and Canuto can slow things down. Obviously, the Yellowjackets have watched the film on CCSJ, and they're going with those long balls to try to counter and use their speed. One of the things that has worked so far this season against the Crimson Wave defense to beat them. Solis switching it across the field. Comes back to Villatoro. Great pass to Solis. To the outside now for Raider. Raider sends a ball in, headed nicely away, though, by Guerrero. It falls nicely. Goes to the outside for Nathan. Curling shot, easily handled by Canuto. Canuto outlets with Hernan Medina. Medina's pass just short, looking for Trehu. Just seems like CCSJ can't link up the passing when they're trying to get out of their own zone. And they're going to switch it to the near side of the field here. Brent Rader's got a lot of room to run. And I don't know if they timed that pass correctly. Nope. Nathan's offsides. Elin Nathan was looking to make that run sooner, and Raider just didn't find him. And once he started making the run, Raider second-guessed himself and passed it too late. Sometimes when you're attacking, you got to have that confidence. Just let the pass go immediately. That's exactly what happened on that goal by Meyer. Can't be linked up with Medina. Not the best pass, though, handled by Batista. Trehu. Head for Medina. Central for Gaffaro. Gaffaro switches it over to the far side here for O.C. Asari, and he can't handle the initial ball. And kicked out of play by Mikey Hernandez, a senior from Waukegan. Well, Coach Cloutier talked about trying to create a culture of a family around these parts. Canuto almost, or just gets to that one. Coach Cloutier said that he would, especially during the winter before the season, before they really started recruiting too much, they would get the players together to play futsal, which is indoor soccer, and they get them together to train together and to do things together to become more of a family. He says that's the best way to help create team chemistry. Switching it over to the far side, now, or near side, excuse me, for Raider. Good touch in there. But Defiance has not a single defender on the other side of the field. They're all out attacking right now. Asari. Not the best pass. Can't link up with Trehu. Cross in the middle. They've got a man out there. Nathan couldn't get on the end of it. Well, it's definitely been a rough start for CCSJ. They haven't been able to really move the ball around on their own end of the field without turning it over, and they haven't been able to get too many dangerous attacks or dangerous shots on goal. It's been a pretty easy start to the game for Harper in goal for the Yellowjackets, and we have a player down. I think the referee might stop this, or maybe not. Here's Solis. Mason Coase. They're going to switch it, and this near side has been open all game so far. Here's Raider for Solis. Raider on the near side. Sends a whipping ball, or whips a ball in. Comes down at the top of the box. Handled and controlled by Meyer, who has the game's only goal. Defiance is looking in control right now. We want to mention to you that this is not a doubleheader. Usually we have doubleheaders, but only the men's team playing tonight for CCSJ. As that one goes too long and out of play for a goal kick. Women's team, the next time that we'll have them on the broadcast here will be next Saturday morning. Early game at 10 a.m. And the men's team, their next home game won't actually be for pretty much a week and a half, close to 2 weeks. Two Wednesdays from now against Governor State. So Pinto trying to control it. Goes straight to the foot here of Cazares. Cazares basically in a 1v8 and takes a weak shot easily handled by Harper. See, if you're CCSJ, I think you've just got to start passing the ball more and seeing what you can do on the Defiance side of the field, because they're just putting weak shots on goal and Defiance is counterattacking quickly. Bad pass, but played nicely by Solis. Raider cannot catch up to that one. Once again, it's another Defiance steal, but not the best pass there from Elin Nathan. Trying to link up with Henrique Wozniak. The transfer from Arkansas Rich Mountain, which we've seen a few players across all sports actually in the CCAC transferring from Arkansas Rich Mountain in volleyball and even in soccer as well. We had a few players in the last game transferring from that school as well. Handled by Medina. Ahead here for Pinto. Long ball ahead, and here comes the race for it. And coming out of the net is Harper. Harper goes down. We're going to get a free kick, I think, going the way of Defiance as Felipe Poblete was brought down. We will take a break as two players injured on that play. 1-0 is the score. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back. 1-0 is the score, just 21 minutes into the game. It was a crazy collision between the goalkeeper for the Yellowjackets, Jacob Goldsberry, and Felipe Poblete, the senior from Santiago, Chile. For CCSJ, they actually went with a free kick to the way of Defiance on that one, even though it was kind of a 50-50 ball and they both collided, but they're both okay. Poblete playing in that, he's actually playing with a mask out there, but he's playing in that central attacking position. Great ball in. Trying to get to it on that one was Meyer, but easily shut down by Canuto, who's been pretty smart in goal there. He's usually came out deep in the box and kind of, you got to think that Coach Cloutier had a say in that to limit the amount of deep balls played by the other team. Great skill. Trehu's got it. Trehu's got a lot of skill with the ball at his feet. Taken by Pinto. Pinto loses out on it, Solis has it. Solis could link up with Nathan, decides to switch the field, and it's right over the head. It falls now to Griffin Meyer, looking for a second. Meyer sends it in to the far side. Nathan just over his head. Elin Nathan could have gotten one himself. He already has a shot, which was saved by Canuto, but just over his head. And if you're Defiance in that situation, you've got to capitalize on those opportunities. You never know how many of those you're going to get. And if Nathan was just a couple steps back, he could have headed that on goal. Canuto had a lot of ground to cover from one side to the other. Canuto's had a great season. He's arguably been the player of the game in multiple games this season for CCSJ. And he's had to make a lot of saves. 64 saves so far on only 5 games played is a lot of shots per game, and he's stepped up for most of them, but some of the shots have been unsavable that he's had to face. Can't blame him for some of the goals he's allowed. Pressured now by Gaffaro. Play it back, and no-nonsense clearance falls to Meyer. Inviting ball to Nathan, but just offsides again for the third time. Elin Nathan, the sophomore from Lyon, caught offsides. Awkward play by Nigel Ociasari, and it falls now to Defiance again. That shot blocked. Could go out of play, and it will for a corner. First corner of the game for either team. 8th corner of the season for the Yellowjackets coming into this game. So let's see now what the Yellowjackets can do if they get that second goal. You got to imagine how rough that would feel for CCSJ. They haven't really been able to get anything to go offensively in any way, shape, or form. And if they go down by 2, it would really feel like a tall task to come back. Really dangerous ball, but just off the top of the head of Gabriel Lorenzetti, the sophomore from Sao Paulo, Brazil. And it'll be a goal kick, so CCSJ survives for now. But what do you think Shane Cloutier, the head coach in his first season for the Crimson Wave, has in store to try to get his team a little bit of momentum? As you can see, if you can see on the far side of the field, Defiance looking like they have around 9 to 10 substitutes on the bench. And on the other side of things, CCSJ right now only has 5 available substitutes on the bench right now. It's a big difference. It means that your starters have to play a lot more. Trehu, up on this near side, loses out on the ball. Great touch by Wozniak. Playing it ahead here to Nathan. Great ball to Solis, switching and looking for the run here. And I think it got just over. Here's a little dink towards the goal. And that's a goal. 2-0 Defiance. What a great ball on that one from Solis. Nicholas Solis with the assist. And I believe that may have been Griffin Meyer with his second of the game. That right side has been Yes, and it was Griffin Meyer. Second goal of the game. And it's 2-0 Defiance. And once again, that inviting ball over on the right side ends up spelling disaster for CCSJ. How will the Crimson Wave respond? Well, here comes a great run from Solis. Solis playing it into Nathan. And there's a good challenge on the play by Gaffaro. That's going to go all the way for a corner, though. Actually, I take it back. The referee's going to point for a goal kick. It looked like it went off Gaffaro last, but it'll be a goal kick. Well, thank you for being with us this evening on a gorgeous night. Gotta wonder how many more nights that we'll have like this, where it'll be absolutely beautiful out. Honestly, it feels almost a little too hot. I mean, there's kind of a fine line between it being super nice and hot, and it does feel pretty hot out, but it's getting into that fall weather. It's going to be in the 50s and the 40s pretty soon here in Northwest Indiana. And even in Ohio, where Defiance is from. The passing out of the back for CCSJ has just not been good enough today. They do have an entire rest of the half and second half to work on that, though. But Meyer's doing really well. This Defiance team feeling a lot of confidence. And remember, head coach Tut Czar of Defiance, he actually told me that his goal in this game heading into it was to just put shots on goal and to try to score goals. When I asked him, what's your game plan? I didn't want him to give too much away. He just said to score goals. And, I mean, you can't really come up with a better game plan than that. That is the goal of the game. But right now, Defiance, they're not only putting shots on net, they're not only scoring goals. They got 2 in the game already, but they're controlling the ball, and they're passing circles right now around the Crimson Wave. They're going to have to figure something out, CCSJ, to get the ball back. Not only that, but Defiance is also attacking with the sun in their eyes. Sun over on the left side of the field. Defiance attacking into that direction. Here's a nice pass ahead, and here comes Mason Coase. Coase looking for the through ball. Nicely played by Batista to clear it away. Solis with a nice back heel. Villatoro switches the field. Into Meyer. Another opportunity. It's Meyer looking for a hat trick. Sets up a opportunity here for Nathan in the box, and he just couldn't get the shot off. CCSJ gets possession, but a little dink over the top by Trey, who cannot be played by Pinto. Get a foul there. It's going to go on Meyer. Here comes CCSJ, and they got a lot of real estate up this near side. Almost losing out on it there was Batista. And now CCSJ might want to focus on a little bit of a possession themselves. Ball up the middle, looking for Poblete. And the first one there is Goldsberry, the goalkeeper. Solis really wanted the ball on that one. I mean, Solis is just controlling the midfield so well. It just seems like any opportunity goes through him. Here's a switch to the far side, looking for Raider. Canuto's the first one there. Trehu. Defended by Raider. Trehu looking for Poblete, and that ball was just a little bit to the left. Poblete could have been in with a great chance. Well, somehow getting through that and making a great run is Wozniak. And Wozniak couldn't go all the way. Osari actually scored a goal in the last game that we covered for this team. And another turnover in midfield. Nathan. Cuts inside. Falls to Mayer, and he goes to the far side. Mayer with a little dink over the top, and once again, as is custom, the ball rolls just out of play. Here's the substitution. It's going to go for Defiance. Looks like it'll be John Villatoro getting a rest and coming off for the time being. Kendall Stanley, the freshman from Bellefontaine, Ohio, will come in to replace him for now. And immediately, Stanley gets some pressure in on the play. Medina. Not the best touch there from Batista. So 13 to play, and here comes Defiance. A third goal could just put this game out of reach for CCSJ. Here's Solis. Nathan back to Solis. Played nicely, though, by Gaffaro. Great touch ahead, and now here comes CCSJ. It's Trehu. Trying to make a move here. Gets by. Cross in the box. Looked like it might have been a handball by Lorenzetti, but I think his arm was in a natural position. Ooh, a very late challenge by Gaffaro. Not going to bring out the yellow card, though. And we're actually going to see Gaffaro go down after that play. So they're going to stop the clock, and we'll see if Gaffaro is okay after that. I think he is getting up after and limping a little bit. But for CCSJ in the second half, I can't imagine how difficult it's going to be to attack going from right to left because the sun is setting and it's getting really hard to see on that side of the field with the sun in your eyes. Actually going to see a substitution really quick. So Gaffaro is going to exit after he took a tough hit on that one, and going to see Christian Angel come into the game for him. And racing for the ball and not able to reach it was Wozniak, and that ball is traveling so quickly on the turf. Almost just feels impossible to get to it when that ball is played through. And on natural grass fields, the ball would be moving a lot. I mean, it would still be moving as quick, but it would slow up quicker. On the turf, it doesn't ever actually slow up until it goes super far. I mean, so you could see those long balls, but the medium passes to the byline probably will go out of play. But I think for head coach Tut Czar of Defiance, this is exactly how he would have wanted this first half to go. We still got 11 minutes to play. Raider into Stanley. Playing it to Nathan. Nathan with a nice move, but it goes to Angel. Angel kicks it out of play. Great give and go here. Here's Wozniak. Cannot get it complete control. Mason Coast will reset. Quinn Holzable. Haven't really mentioned his name too much, but he plays back there in defense, and he hasn't really actually had to do too much yet. Holzable. 3-year letterman in high school for soccer, and Coach Czar said he was a great returner that has stepped up in a big way. Crossing the box looking for Nathan. Well defended and cleared away by Cesar Madriz with no doubt about that. Let it off for Lorenzetti. Through ball let roll there by Asari. Well, right now we're kind of at a stalemate. Defiance has pretty much dominated the whole first half, but they haven't, since those 2 goals that were scored, they haven't really gotten too many opportunities, major opportunities. And CCSJ has not been able to get the ball out of their own half, but now we have a free kick going the way of the Crimson Waves, so this might be an opportunity. They should definitely send some players up and see what they can do here. The one thing you'd imagine, though, is if Coach Cloutier will make sure his players realize that a counterattack can be very easy to muster up after a play like this. Let's see if they can send a ball in the box. They have a run, punched away by the goalkeeper. Had a run from Pinto. Couldn't get on top of it. Blocked ahead, and here comes Stanley. Played by Wozniak, and now they can reset with who else but Solis. And when you have a player that can move around that much around the field and find open areas, find seams, like Solis has been doing all game, it's really hard to defend. Looking for the run here of Raider, and that one just out of play. I just don't really see how a long ball that close to the goal line could work unless you get it right on the money, because anything ahead will go out for a goal kick. But anytime it goes out for a goal kick, the Yellowjackets can just start pressing like this, and it's hard for the Crimson Wave to get it out, but Asari's got it. Trying to center it for Angel. Falls, though, to Solis. Switching it to Raider, who plays that left back position. Promising ball in the box. They've got a man there. Oh, it's just over. What an opportunity. What a chance. I think that was Wozniak in there who got the volley just over the bar. From the angle that I'm standing at, it looked like it just went under the bar, but nope, it's going to be a goal kick, and it's still 2-0, but Wozniak with a great opportunity for a special goal on that one. And it all starts from that great cross in that the Yellowjackets have been doing all game so far. Here's Osiasari. Pressured and has to go back to Canuto. Out of play, defended by Raider. Well, Coach Cloutier of CCSJ wants his groups to believe in themselves heading into the season. And he believes that his team is prepared enough heading into the season and heading into these games that it can give them enough confidence for them to really pressure these teams and try to get a win here. That's Cloutier's motto, all about preparation builds confidence. Header by Trehu. Chased by Batista and cleared out of play for a throw-in. So now CCSJ putting up a little bit of pressure. You'd imagine that if they get a goal here and make it 2-1, that could set up for a pretty interesting second half, as there's a foul right there by Kendall Stanley, who's claiming actually that Poblete pulled his shirt, but we're going to get a free kick here. It's going to be Hernan Medina who's going to take it. So you got five at the top of the box. And you got the sixth right outside of it, Mikey Hernandez. See if Medina can get a good ball in here. Whips it in, well defended there by Wozniak. Now let's see if they can go on the run here. Elin Nathan loses out on it. Great defense. That ball just out of play. Well, CCSJ can take some of this momentum from the end of the first half that they're gaining right now and bring it in the second. You could see a goal from the Crimson Wave. It's fought for a goal kick. It's another substitution, two of them actually for the Yellowjackets. Looks like Elin Nathan is going to get a rest, as well as Brent Rader. They've both been playing on that left side, and they have been running around the entire half. They need a break, a well-deserved break. It's like it'll be Sebastian Barrio, the freshman from Medellin, Colombia, and then first touch there from Jacob Saxby, the senior from Ironton, Ohio, who comes in, replacing Rader. They'll play for the rest of the 4 minutes, maybe more, in that second half. Nicely headed down there from Batista. Falls to Poblete. Poblete. Nice dribble moves there. Can they set something up here, the Crimson Wave? And Poblete loses out on it. Here's Solis. Actually, they're going to not play advantage. They're going to say a foul on the Crimson Wave. Free kick to the Yellowjackets. Working it in the middle here. Great ball in to Suarez. Diego Suarez links up with his teammate Barrio, and Barrio coming in off the bench immediately, trying to make an impact. That one rolls just far. In these next few games, I feel like I'm going to set a counter for how many times the ball rolls out too far for a goal kick, because I think we're at least up to 8 or 9 in this game. The turf is so quick. Speeds up the rate of play extremely. Great touch there by Meyer, and here he comes. Solis trying to link up with Meyer, but cannot. Ricardo Pinto can't get by, and it's played all the way back by Wozniak. With less than 2 minutes to play in the first half. 2-0 Defiance. Both goals scored so far by Griffin Meyer, the junior. And both of them scored just inside of 20 minutes into the game. I mean, Solis is playing in that midfield position, but he's so far back, it just feels like he might be a center back. He's always looking for the space and the pass that he can give his teammates an option to play out of trouble. Here's Meyer. Ooh, Meyer goes down. Looks like he might have pulled something, so we'll take a break with 1:10 to play in the half. 2-0 Defiance in the lead. All right, we welcome you back. So it was Griffin Meyer who went down with an injury. He's off right now, and it's going to be Samuel Butler, the senior, the transfer from Calvary University in Kansas City, who will come in to replace him. And we hope that it's just a cramp for Meyer, and nothing more serious than that because he has the 2 goals for Defiance in tonight's game. That pass just a little long there from Barrio, trying to link up with Saxby, who both just came off the bench at the same time. 36 seconds to go here in the first half. Maybe one more chance if CCSJ gets plays their cards right, but Solis, who has been out there the entire time, takes no risk. Poblete, Angel, headed away, and CCSJ, I think they just want to head to the half. I think they're exhausted, but there might be one more chance here for Sebastian Barrio. Barrio centers it just long, but it falls to Butler off the bench. Butler's going to leave it. And the time just runs out as Defiance were looking for a 3rd goal. 2 goals for Griffin Meyer here in the first half has put the Yellowjackets up 2-0 over CCSJ. We'll be back for some halftime thoughts after this.